morning. Let's talk about Christmas and whether or not there's an attack on Christmas. My guests on Top Talkers this morning, CFRA's Rick Gibbons, Majic 100's Connie Bernardi, and of course, Bob FM's Sandy Sharkey. Good morning to all three of you. Rick, this is something that we hear people call in on talk shows quite often about year after year, saying that they believe that people are trying to erase the word Christmas. Do you get that feeling?
Well, first of all, I would say that the biggest threat to Christmas, at least our notion of it, comes from the weather forecast this morning. So maybe we should be blaming the weather.
Yes, good point. I don't feel comfortable with that.
I think this war, if nothing else, has become somewhat predictable. People perceive their notions of a traditional Christmas under assault. As a matter of fact, I went shopping for you on Cyber Monday.
Wow.
I went to Amazon.com and I bought you this book.
Okay.
Because it is called The War on Christmas. So if someone has produced a book on the War on Christmas, there must be a war on Christmas. Otherwise there wouldn't
clearly.
be a book. But I also went shopping bright and early this morning. I took a look at my flyers, and I have to admit there were an awful lot of holiday gift guides and whatnot, but there was Christmas, Canada's Christmas store. The Canadian Tire is so anxious to establish itself as Canada's Christmas store that it sent me 2 flyers today.
Yes.
And some of the most impressive. So I think at least in Canadian Tire, if you feel you're under assault, you'll find sanctuary at Canadian Tire.
Is saying Happy Holidays an assault on Christmas?
See, I'm one of those people. I dislike Happy Holidays.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you're talking Christmas tree, Santa Claus, and reindeer, you're obviously talking about Christmas. Unless you're incorporating Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and Christmas, then say Happy Holidays. But if you're referring to, that's why I love Canadian Tire this year, because I think that's the first year that they've done this.
Yeah, and they've really gone big on it too.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. But I mean, for all the retailers that do the TV spots that say Happy Holidays and they're only showing Christmassy things, then call it Christmas.
So when you hear Happy Holidays, you don't think of it as an all-inclusive thing, trying to make sure that everyone, because this is a time of year where people celebrate more than one thing. I mean, we do have Hanukkah coming up after next weekend, and I think people, I like to think that it comes from a place of all-inclusive. Sandy, what do you think?
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with Happy Holidays. There's nothing wrong with Merry Christmas. There's nothing wrong with Happy Hanukkah.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with any of them. And so what I do find to be kind of odd is people who have a problem hearing any of those things.
Okay.
On our radio show, when it gets to, a few days before Christmas, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I have for years. And I have never had one person say to me, well, I would prefer it if you said Happy Holidays.
But see, that's the myth. People think if you do say Merry Christmas, someone will take offense to it, and
but
that's where
not reality.
No, but
Yes.
exactly.
So maybe the war on Christmas is occurring in our own heads.
Yes.
We become hypersensitized to this.
Because
sensitive to
it's
this.
all
Exactly.
over Facebook. I mean, I'm saying Merry Christmas. Okay, all right, say it. Nobody cares. Where I draw the line, where it's hard for me, is when someone starts referring to a holiday tree.
Yeah,
That's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Like you can't change the name of that.
Well, it's a steel pole for the rest of the Festivus. For those of us who celebrate Festivus.
Right, it's a good point. It's a good point. I do like Festivus. Yeah. I don't know that we need to homogenize everything to holidays. It's fine. What about saying Merry Christmas to someone who doesn't celebrate it? Do you think that they would be insulted by that?
Well, I don't think so. I certainly never experienced that. I don't think.
No, I worked in retail for like 12 years, and we always said Merry Christmas, and never once did I get anyone that said, I'm offended that you said Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, Sandy.
Oh, thank you very much.
See, she's happy to hear it.
It's all
That's fine. Go
good.
ahead and say it.
Every time anyone utters any of those words, no matter what religion you belong to, it's a joyous thing to say. So I don't know why anyone would have a problem with it. And this war on Christmas, we love our Christmas music. Are we going to start changing it to, we wish you a happy holiday, or oh holiday tree, oh holiday tree? A lot of our songs have the word Christmas in them. I've never heard anyone go as far as to say we have to start changing the words of those songs.
Yeah.
I think that, I think we're all kind of in agreement here that it's exaggerated, and there may be a few that want to be poo-pooers at this time of year.
Right.
But overall, it's not that bad.
Is it really a sensitivity, Rick, to maybe people are thinking of it as an attack on religion? Because when you talk about in schools and things like that, it has become more homogenized.
Well, to be honest, the biggest threat to school Christmas concerts right now is the threat of a teacher strike.
Yes.
I just think people feel themselves that it may not be inclusive. That, am I somehow offending someone? But that's sort of the nature of, I think, us in society today. We are so concerned with offending someone that we sort of self-censor. ourselves a little bit.
That's, are we all walking on eggshells? Is that what the story is?
Yeah, and I think exactly what you said. We censor ourselves to a fault. You know, we're afraid to say anything anymore.
I don't like that. You're not afraid to say anything, Sandy. I've listened to the show.
I should be, though.
No. I think it's great. I think whatever, personally, I think the panel probably agrees on this. Whatever your sentiment is, if it's something positive and well-meaning, how can you go wrong? Say whatever you want. So Merry Christmas to all three of you.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you. All right, that's Top Talkers. I want to thank my panel once again, Rick Gibbons, Connie Bernardi, and, of course, Sandy Sharkey.